So the film begins with a family. Naz is going to her dad's house with her son and her husband Rude. He tells her not to lose her composure there and to act wisely. Actually, Naz's dad had married her best friend, and because of that, Naz was looking extremely angry at this time. Rude says, "If you fight too much, you won't get anything. That girl will take a property." They had a pharmaceutical company, and it was heard that they had found a big investor who now wanted to buy their company, and in this way, they could become rich. After explaining things to her the entire way, Rude finally brings Naz to her dad's house. On the other hand, we finally take a look at Naz's dad. For the past several days, he was obsessed with creating a formula that could restore anyone's youth. That is, make an old person young again. It could even save someone from death forever. Finally, when he completes the formula, he tests it on himself first. In a single gulp, he drank the entire bottle of serum. After that, it took only a few minutes and the kind of magic started happening to the old man. The wrinkles on his face disappeared, his muscles started to become strong, the skin of his entire body tightened, and he looked completely young. At this time, he looked at least 20 years younger than his age. He looks at himself in the mirror and, a minute later, is shocked. Even he hadn't expected to get such good results from this medicine. He was enjoying his youth but was unaware that, just as quickly as the medicine had affected him, it was causing side effects inside his body just as quickly, which we can see on his lower back. Panicking, he quickly goes to his wife, Karina, who is shocked to see him suddenly so young. Not only had he become young, he was brimming with the excitement of youth. When his wife remains in shock for quite a while, wondering how all this happened, the old man tells her about his formula. He says that after drinking this medicine, "I feel powerful from the inside, and you won't believe what I've created. There will be a line around the world to buy this, and big pharmaceutical companies will buy the formula from us, and we will become rich." He was still unaware that the serum had a side effect. A rot had formed on his lower back, and it was spreading. On the other hand, after explaining things to Naz all the way, Rude finally takes her to her dad. Karina herself had come to welcome them. But Naz did not even glance at her, because this girl had betrayed her friendship. She had married her own dad. The atmosphere here seems quite tense. Because of this, Karina also becomes sad and worried. Neither did her son meet Karina with affection, nor did she let her son go near her. After that, there was no need to touch her or take anything from her. So first, she goes to see her brother, her lazy brother. He would just sit in his room all day playing games. He didn't even care that their dad had remarried. They all go and sit in the drawing room. And as soon as Naz's dad enters the drawing room, everyone is left open-mouthed with shock. Everyone recognized him, but it was beyond anyone's understanding how Dad had become young in just one night. No one could explain what had happened to him. But then he drops another bombshell. He announces that he has decided not to sell the family business. They are not selling the company now. Everyone was unhappy with his decision. Everyone suddenly gets angry. Naz's brother even leaves the room, and he explains his decision to the rest. "Look, my decision isn't bad. Right now our company is in loss. But because of what I've created, this company will become the most profitable company in the world." He shows everyone the serum of immortality, which can make someone young and even keep someone away from death. Everyone sitting in the room becomes silent, and Karina says to her husband, "You had promised me you'd retire, and that we would live a peaceful life." Karina says to him, "Oh, I've become young. Now we'll work, earn money, and enjoy life. Don't worry." Karina had just said this when Naz completely lost her temper. She snaps at her, saying that you interfered in our life. What more do you want? Their argument keeps escalating. And during all this, they don't notice that something was happening to Dad. Sweat was pouring down his entire face as if someone had poured water over him. Suddenly, he started experiencing severe pain inside his body. The wounds on his neck and lower back are seen changing into large holes. Suddenly, his body starts twisting in a strange way and he begins vomiting blood. His eyes had also changed now, and he dies right in their arms. Naz and Karina, panicking badly, tell Rue to call an ambulance quickly. But there was no point in calling an ambulance. He had already died. Everyone was engulfed in sadness. But then he came back to life and stood up. However, he was no longer human. He had become a terrifying creature. That is, a zombie. His eyes had turned completely black and he was no longer behaving like a normal human. Everyone was confused about what had happened to Dad. Hearing the commotion, a guard also comes in, and the zombie suddenly attacks his neck, tearing off the flesh with his teeth. The guard dies. After that, he attacks the same investor, who had come here to make a business deal. The man saves himself from the attack, but all the drool from the zombie's mouth falls on him. It's obvious that everyone knows that zombies infect other humans through their blood, so it was certain that this man would also turn into a zombie. The guard, who had come in holding a gun, is also attacked by Dad, and in the struggle to save himself, the gun goes off. The bullet passes through Dad's face and into his brain, then out, and due to the brain being damaged, Dad, who had turned into a zombie, dies. But Naz's life was still at risk. One zombie was still left, so the danger was still looming over them. The investor who had come to offer the deal goes and sits in his car, even though Rod tries to stop him from leaving. On the other hand, Bank starts regretting that he killed his own date, and in this remorse he runs off and sits in the car, and Naz comes inside to console him. The servant who had died also came back to life as a zombie. The three people present in the house get scared on seeing him, and the zombie servant attacks them. First he bites his arms and then, biting his neck, kills him and turns him into a zombie as well. The scene cuts and we are shown Naz and Dan again. The nurse was encouraging Ben when they heard a strange noise from behind them. They saw that another girl, who had turned into a zombie, attacked the other girl. The nurse quickly gets down to check on her, and that girl moves to attack her. Bank runs his car over that zombie to save Ben. The zombie's half-body is badly crushed, but even then the zombie stays alive. At home, Karina, Rod, and her son were left, and they try to flee the house to save themselves. When Naz enters the house to get her son, she sees that no one is there anymore, and outside, the half-crushed zombie was following her, dragging itself along with its hands to kill it. We are shown that investor who had also completely turned into a zombie. Having turned into a zombie, even his driving isn't steady, and he crashes the car into a wedding event, then gets out of the car and attacks the people there to satisfy his hunger. Because of his attack, many people here turned into zombies, and since those zombies also had to feed, soon all the wedding guests become zombies as the other zombies attack, and that's exactly what happens. After a while, it is shown that all the people who came to the wedding turn into zombies and are fiercely attacking each other. Meanwhile, Karina's whole group was running to save themselves, and as soon as they reach the car, the zombie servant comes after them again. Karina pushes Naz's son behind her to protect him and steps forward herself, but she couldn't hand herself over to the zombie either. She picks up a tool lying inside the car and hits the zombie on the head, but even that doesn't affect it, and after a while their luck turns as it starts raining, which weakens the zombie, and taking the chance, they run away. During all this, Naz also managed to contact Rod. She asks them how they are. They all say they are fine. For now, Naz tells them to go to any safe house, so that after a while, Naz and Bank can reach them as well. The house that Naz mentioned was reached after escaping, but it was found that the house was also surrounded by zombies on all sides. With great difficulty, Karina, Rod, and her son managed to get inside the house, but Sarmony is killed by the zombies. Naz and Bank were also heading toward that house. They keep the car at high speed and reach the banquet where the wedding was happening, and where all the people had already turned into zombies. The sound of their car attracts all the zombies, and they have no other option but to run over the zombies. On the other hand, the child notices that the other zombies were also coming towards them. He tells his dad and Karina to run, and they all get into a room. During this time, another zombie came after them, but they pushed it away into the corridor, closed the door of this room, and now he was looking at his hand in shock. He realized that he too would soon turn into a zombie like everyone else. Before becoming a zombie, he hugs his son and makes a final request: take care of your mom. As soon as he says this, his body also starts to change. His eyes itch terrifyingly, holes open up on his body, and his body starts shaking violently, and he fully turns into a zombie and attacks his own daughter. To save the child, Karina grabs Rod and hurls him away. His body gets impaled on a rod fixed in the room. He gets stuck there. Karina seizes the chance, shuts the door, and escapes from there. On the other hand, Naz and Bank were mowing down zombies with a car, but their car broke down, so now they have to escape on foot from the remaining zombies, and they decide to go to the police station. Inside the police station, no one was willing to take Naz and Bank seriously, but still, the inspector sends some officers to check the bite situation. What they found was worse than they had imagined. To save themselves, these officers open fire on the zombies, but it has no effect on them, and the zombies attack these officers as well. With great difficulty, one officer manages to reach the police station. This is to convey that the report given by Naz and Bank is true. He also mentions that all the other zombies were heading towards their police station. Seeing this, they close all their windows and barricade them so that no zombie can reach here. Now, the man who came from outside had been attacked by a zombie. In a short while, he also turns into a zombie and attacks another officer there. To protect themselves from him, they forcibly lock him in a locker. The officers who were left here were trying to contact other police stations to inform them about the situation, but they couldn't establish contact with the other station. Meanwhile, Karina calls Naz and tells her that everyone with them has also turned into zombies and only she and Ben are fine. Naz encourages her to stay strong and also entrusts her with looking after her son. The police officers go up to the roof of the police station. They see that the zombies below have wreaked terrible destruction. They tell Banky and Naz that they'll need their help. They have to fight these zombies. They make full preparations to face the zombies. They put on bulletproof vests, wear masks, and then head out carrying shotguns. By firing their guns, they first make noise to gather all the zombies in one place and then start shooting at them to finish them off. The situation becomes more chaotic. The sound of these shots attracts another group of zombies here. The situation had slipped out of their hands. An attack could happen on them at any minute, but luck is on their side and a heavy downpour begins. So, because of the rain, all the zombies stop moving, roaming, and talking, giving them a chance to escape. On the other side, Naz's husband manages to get away from here. Just like Karina had done with that stick, he also manages to free himself and, by drawing the zombies' attention, gathers many of them near the house. Inside this house, they had found Karina's son and another girl as well. Their lives are in danger. She leaves the house thinking these people will survive. Outside there are even more zombies, but luckily they find a bike here, and the three of them hop on and ride away. On the other hand, Karina and Bank had also sat inside a truck to save themselves. Naz started crying because she knew she had nothing left. But then she sees Karina and her son coming toward them on a bike. Seeing them, they become very happy, but then notice that a lot of zombies were coming after them. To kill the zombies, she runs the truck over them, killing many. but a lot of zombies gather around the truck. Soon the truck's brakes fail, and Bank calls the officer at the police station to say that the situation outside has gotten even worse, and that they're heading toward the police station to save themselves. While he's talking, they lose control of the truck and it crashes into the building. Everyone gets out of the truck, but Bank's leg gets stuck inside. The zombies attack them, and despite themselves they fall prey to many of them. There was one officer here who had not yet fallen victim to the zombies, but instead of saving himself in this crisis, he tells Naz and Karina to run from here. But Naz wasn't going to leave them. She fights the zombies here, and in the midst of the fight, her arm also gets injured. The stiffness meant that she too would soon turn into a zombie, but she was still unaware of this. The officer tells them all to leave. He knew that zombies die when burned, so after getting the three of them out of the police station, he sacrifices his own life. He sets off an explosion here. All the zombies that were around the police station are killed in the blast, and in the end only Naz, Karina, and Karina's son make it here. Naz notices that her arm is wounded and that she will soon be infected. She hugs her son and, letting go of all her anger toward Karina, says to her, "I've forgiven you for what you did. Now take good care of my son." After that, she also shoots herself. And at the end of this scene we are shown many burned zombies wandering nearby. Quite some time passes. We see that Karina is taking very good care of the child. For the time being, the zombie virus had spared humans, but not forever. In another country, we see one of Naz's dad's old business plans. He also has the same medicine that started the zombie infection, and they put this medicine on the market, which suggests the zombie virus is about to spread there as well. With a mystery of how far it will spread, the movie ends here.